Alright, Chris Manuel here for another video lesson. Today I figured I would talk about drop 3 chords. I feel like these are one of the most useful forms for guitar and for jazzier styles of music, especially for beginner and intermediate players. I've used those in the end. They've been a savior on many musicals that I've performed in, and as I was learning beginning jazz tunes and trying to get out of the basic bar chords and major chords and minor chords. So quickly, I'm going to try to put a image up here of the staff to try to help explain these. But essentially, if you stack the notes of the chord on the staff and you take the third note from the top and lower it down an octave, that's where the name drop 3 comes from and how the shape is derived. So for today's lesson, I'm going to put all of these in root position. I may try to do another video with the inversions, as I think these are very useful as well, especially if you want to learn the whole fretboard well. But what you do is, if we were going to stack the chord in thirds, if we're going to do it in root position, we're going to start with the 5th on top. So if we went down from the 5th of the chord, and I'm going to start with G7 here, and we'll go down to the 3rd, which is B, then the root. So there's our basic triad, and to make it a 7th chord, we would put the 7th underneath that. And you can see that would be here. This would be a very tough chord to play. So if we take that 3rd note, the G, and we lower it an octave, and then we have the 5th, the 3rd, the octaves lowered, and then the 7th. Puts everything right here in a playable position. So that's the drop 3 dominant 7th chord shape. Okay, now if we repeat the process, and you can look at the notation up here. We take this is for a major 7th chord. Take the 5th, the 3rd, the root, and again, now the 7th would be even further up, even more difficult to play. So if we take that major 7th and play it there and drop the 3rd note down an octave, we get this shape. This is the G major 7 drop 3 chord shape. Okay, if we repeat the process for minor 7, here's our 5th, flatted 3rd, root, flatted 7th. This is not an impossible chord to play, but it's certainly not easy, and it would probably be difficult for a lot of people. So drop the 3rd note down an octave, play the 7th here instead, and we get this shape. I prefer to play it with my 3rd finger barring these 3 strings, string 3, 2, and 4, and then my 2nd finger plays the root on the 6th string. Okay, last but not least, for these jazz tunes, we probably want to know the minor 7 flat 5 or half diminished chord. So for this shape, if we repeat the process, again, it would be a difficult shape to play. Flat 5, flat 3, root, flat 7. And if we drop the 3rd note down an octave, play the other notes in that same position, we get this shape. I'll put the chart up here. And those are the 4 types of chords we need to know to get through most tunes. I will try to play a song at the end to demonstrate this. I was trying to think of one that has, you know, all 4 types of chords. It's not too difficult, and All of Me came to mind, although any introductory jazz tune would probably be great, and you could use the dominant 7th chords to play blues. You could just do do a basic blues with the dominant form of the drop 3 chords. You know, I will do another video with the versions on the 5th string with the root on the 5th string. These all have the root on the 6th string. I feel like it's best to try to learn one chord type at a time, and the ones with the root on 1 string at a time before moving on. It's easy to get overwhelmed and take on too much too quickly. So for advanced players, I apologize if this is a review, but there's certainly a number of people out there that I think could find this helpful. Before I move on to the application of the song All of Me, I will mention that because of the way the guitar is tuned, the note on the 6th string can be moved to the 1st string. And every one of these chord shapes that I've talked about can be played with the note, with the root being on the top, on the 1st string. So for the dominant chord, we would get this shape. For the major 7, rather than this, we would get this shape. For the minor 7, this is a very common one. Just bar first 4 strings. And then the minor 7, this is also a very common chord shape for minor 7. I prefer to hold down 2 notes with my 2nd finger here, but you could do it this way as well. You essentially form kind of your A minor shape here, 4th finger on the 1st string. That gives you your minor 7 flat 5 chord or half diminished chord. So I'll probably do another video on these as well. These are what we call drop 2 chord voicings, and I actually probably use those more than the others, but since for beginners it's so helpful to learn the 6th string, and it gives you that bass note on the 6th string, the root as the lowest note. I think they're one of the more useful ones, you know, immediately for accompaniment. So anyway, we're going to try All of Me. Alright, I'm just using drop 3 chords with the root on the 6th string. So as you get better, you wouldn't jump around so much, but when you're learning the basic chords, I think it's totally fine to stick to one chord type, one form with the root on 1 string. So I'm going to put a chart up for All of Me, and you know, feel free to play along. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, thank you. If you found this helpful, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.